Okay, once again, I welcome every one of us to our third cafe. I am looking forward to this because this is the first time we are doing the Statement of Purpose Cafe, which is called SOP. So I want to thank you for taking your time to be part of this. I hope it's going to be very fruitful to every one of us. And thanks to our volunteers that submitted their SOPs. I hope we can treat the two of them. But if we can't, I am very sure we can treat one in depth, and that can set the stage for even other people. Yeah. So before we start, I wanted to just go through what I see about SOP. All this while I've not been checking that, but I decided because we are going to be having a section, I decided to just check the website of some universities to see what that SOP really is. Yeah, so I checked the university, the Northeast University, I think that should be in the US, and they have something very nice that I think I like there. So I will share my screen to just go through that very fast with us, at least to set the stage on what SOP is. So I will share my screen now and get that started. It's loading. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, Prof. Yes, Prof. We are seeing your screen.
Okay, good. So like I said, this is the website of Northeastern University. I am very sure it's a university in the US, given the .edu extension there. So here they have stated some things that are important in writing a statement of purpose. So which I think is important, although every school and every application you'll be applying for, sometimes they have their own. Some special application, in fact, they help you a lot. They break things down for you, create different sections, and want you to fill in specific information for those sections. But some other schools, they just want you to write it like an essay, write an essay that is called statement of purpose. So from here, this website is started by defining what a statement of purpose is. And I think some people have asked this type of question on our platform before. So here they are saying that a statement of purpose is also sometimes referred to as personal statement. And it's a critical piece of a graduate school application that tells admissions committee who you are, what your academic and professional interests are, and how you will add value to the graduate program you are applying to. So I don't expect this to be a new information for every one of us here, because before you even start writing, you want to go and read about what an SOP is. And I think we must have been doing that. I am just gonna see if I can admit some people along the line. So as I present, I'll be admitting people along the line. So let's bear with me on that. I think in the future, I might give this power to somebody else so that I will not be distracted. So we have seen what
Can't we make that? Sorry, Prof. Sorry for interrupting. Can't
yeah,
we make the admission? What is it called? Automatic. Like if you just click on it, you come in straight.
I will not want to do that because I use this link. It's like my personal link. So if I do it, maybe one day I'm having meeting with my family, somebody just jump in. You understand?
Yes, Prof. Yes, Prof. I
Yes,
understand.
I don't want to put that type of setting. So I have to admit you. Yeah. So so after that, they went to state how long a statement of purpose is. And from there, from according to them, they said it should be between 500 and 1,000 words, which it's gonna be giving you like one page. Yeah, it's saying like one page from what they said here. But like I said, this depends on your application. So we have to rely strictly on our the application what we are applying for. The requirement they give us is what we will follow. But when nothing is given to you, when a generic statement is just required, go write submit a statement of purpose. So in that case, you have to follow maybe a best practice. So in that case, you want to limit your writing to 1,000 words, between 500 and 1,000 words. Yeah. And you also pay attention to things like the font size, the font type, if it is part of the requirements. Because again, apart from paying attention to those things, it also means that you are it means that you pay attention to specifications, because in graduate studies there are a lot of things you will do that are just based on following specified method or well following laid out methods. Like when you do your experiments, you want to repeat what somebody else has done, or unless you can modify things, right? But most times what we do in science is based on a laid down method in most cases. And that is why when you write a paper, you have your methods section, which will allow somebody to replicate what you have done. Then they now went into how to write a statement of purpose, a step-by-step guide. Again, this is a guide, right? It's not like something you can copy and paste. No, you can't even do that. This is not a template, this is a guide. So, and I like the guide. I like it for several reasons. So they started by saying that for writing this, you have to you first of all you brainstorm your ideas. I think this is like the most important thing that you should do. This is the most important thing that I will not do it for you. As a mentor, I will not do it for you. Although when you write and submit to me for review or to any of our reviewers, sometimes I ask you, put this here, this is missing, right? Because I know that maybe this type of idea or this type of content is required, but I'm not seeing it on your writing. So I can recommend, say, have you written about your academic qualifications here or what you did in your undergraduate? I'm not seeing something like that here. I think it's going to be important to add something like this to to make your story rich. So here they are giving us, they said, when writing a statement of purpose, the person that wrote this thing is suggesting that you should ask yourself these key questions. And I agree with him, because if you finish asking yourself these questions, you must have come up with some points that will form your storyline. The first question, as we can see on the screen, is why do I want this degree? Why do I want this degree? What are my expectations for this degree? So most times, maybe you want to be a professor, or you want to be a researcher, or you want to acquire a skill that will help you solve a particular problem that is facing your community, your country, or the world at large. So when we are thinking about why we want that degree, our points, we should also be it should also be realistic, right? When you are thinking of something, it should be realistic. You should not being over ambitious. I think if you're over ambitious, the committee will pick it out. They know that this person is not saying the truth. So you should be able to be realistic, maybe by knowing how people who studied something like that, what type of line they went into. So that can give you a guide on how realistic your ambition can be about the degree you want to study. I cannot study agricultural engineering and say that I want to be a doctor, a medical doctor after studying agricultural engineering, unless I am moving to medical school from there, right? So like what you are studying should tell what you want to be, right? So that's, you put your story in that line or your thoughts in that line. What courses or program features excite you the most? So this, again, you should do this by, so when you do your homework, by studying the school. So the school you want to apply, you are applying for, and the department, you have to maybe study the professors there, look at their type of work. You can see if the department has special facilities. Maybe they have some research centers that you think the instruments there are state of the art. You can even mention those centers, right? That shows that you have done your homework on that school. And it's very important because if your information are not specific, if they are so generic, the committee members will think that you have not done your homework, and this person who has not done his or her homework might not be a good fit for this position. So where do I want this degree to take me to professionally or personally? Again, this is more like the second point there, right? Then how will my unique professional personal experiences add value to the program? So while you are thinking about your development, you're also thinking about what you're bringing to the table. Because as a student, as somebody who is going for graduate school, you have got some things, right? You have done your undergraduate. You maybe you have some leadership qualities that you have displayed already. Like, so you are bringing those things into the school. And maybe if you have some technical skills, maybe there are some instruments that are very that are used in that field, and you know how to operate them, things like that. Or if you know how to write, technical writing, maybe, and you have shown that by your publication, so you are bringing technical writing skills, and it will benefit the school. Because one thing that elevates a school like very well, it's writing a good paper. If you do your research and you don't write it, right, how will the world know what type of research you have done? So, but when you do your research and you can write your research and publish it in a very good journal, then you are raising the name of the school. Because most times schools are rated by the quality of paper they publish. So if you have a technical writing skills, those are some of the things you have to maybe highlight in your SOP. Okay, then they now went to a very important point. In fact, this point is, after you have finished brainstorming, don't start writing. Like, don't put anything on the ground if you have not developed an outline. The outline is more like the skeleton, right? If you don't have a skeleton, then your writing is likely not going to be logical. During the outline section, that is where you're going to think about the logical flow of your work. What should come first? What should come next? What should be in a paragraph? And what should be in the next paragraph? What should not be in the paragraph? So once if you can develop your outline, in fact, I know of a professor that before you write a paper for that professor, the professor has to approve your outline. So to tell you how important an outline is, so you have to develop an outline. And they gave a description of what a good outline should be. So it should your outline should start with the introduction. I say this a lot in our writing, but sometimes we write it over. We make it too much. Sometimes you see people having 2-3 paragraphs of this introduction. I think this introduction should be very brief and 1 paragraph. So for them, it is an attention-grabbing hook. Or it can be a brief introduction of yourself and your background as it relates to your motivation behind applying to graduate school. So this is not a background of how you were selling fish or how you. It should be a background that you can be channeled into the what you are applying, right? So don't just take a random background when you want to use that. That is one way. Using a background of yourself is one way. Another way is to use, maybe there's something happening in the world currently that relates to that interests you, that you want to use to capture the audience, or maybe there's a statistics about something, maybe as coronavirus is now. Your work is going to be studying your work is going to be looking at coronavirus. I think creating a story around that virus, or a story about maybe the death rate, how the death rate is increasing, or how coronavirus started and what is the state of coronavirus now, and how that has motivated you into studying ways to reduce the impact of coronavirus. Things like that can also be because it's an attention grabbing hook. So it must not only be the story of your village, how you carried water, you were not thinking of, can there be another way to carry this water on your head? And when you are thinking about that, also think about the novelty of that thought. Because if it's something, if you're bringing a background that has been solved, you might not introduce some novelty into your writing. So I think I'll bring a background that not only tells about my story, but also tells about how innovative my thinking is. Then in the body, here you now talk about your relevant experience and accomplishment as it relates to the field. Again, see the word as it relates to the field, that relates to the field. That is very important. So we're gonna be seeing things like this in the SOP that we will be looking at today. So make sure you channel things channel it back to the field. So that means if you have done some things that are not related to the field where you're applying for, you might not want to mention them. Or if you are mentioning them, don't put emphasis on those things. I recently worked on somebody's SOP or something like that, and there was a story like that, and we're able to work on that to remove, we removed, because the person was putting emphasis on that thing. But when I looked at it, I was like asking the person, how does this relate to this thing you're applying? So it's more like a distraction. We now brought in what will make it, we now took 1 or 2 points from there just to mention that you did that thing and how the experience from that thing has improved your past, or will affect your future. So here also they say you can mention your professional goals as they relate to the program. Again, the same line. Then why you are interested in the specific school and what you can bring to the table. Then you have to end, like every other writing, you end with a conclusion, a brief summary of the information presented. We can overemphasize this. When you are writing is not a one-time process, right? You write the first draft, it's not always the best, right? When you write the first draft, there are a lot of errors, grammar error, this, that, logic, inconsistencies, incoherentness, things not being precise. As a student or as somebody who is writing, always, once you write the first draft, take a break, come back again, right? Because sometimes as you're looking at the computer, you are seeing everything as okay. Your mind doesn't say that anything is wrong because it's coming from your head. But sometimes when you take a break, come back again. Be open to your own self. Be open to correct yourself. So you can correct yourself over and over. Then when you have done that, make sure to proofread and proofread and proofread. Because if your writing is good and there are grammatic errors, there are spelling errors, punctuation errors, I think that will not also tell good about you. So you might have a good storyline, but the grammar becomes something that is a barrier. And in graduate school, we need people also who can write very well, I think so. So when they weigh you with other students, you might scale through with that, but remember they are going to weigh you with other students. So if we see somebody who has a better writing than you, then your writing can take you down. So let's try to work on that so that that will not happen. Then make sure that you are sticking to the rules. If they have mentioned that you should write 1 page, like 2 double spacing, things like that. If they mention something on the margin, what the margin should look like, things like that, keep it as they have mentioned. Don't add, don't subtract. So then the last thing they are saying here, which is very important, ask someone you trust to read your statements before you submit it. So here, ask someone you trust is like what we do. I've seen some people, they submit their SOP or even their CV. They say, my friend has read it. Sometimes your friend reads it. He doesn't even know how to criticize you because he loves you, right? There are some friends who loves you. So they will not want to criticize you. So if you want, you should have a friend that can criticize your work, right? It's not the person that always tells you that things are okay, okay, okay. No, they can criticize your work so that they can give you good comment. I think by the special grace of God, that is what we do as reviewers on the mentorship group. So that's what I have to say here. And I will go straight to, I will stop sharing and go back to the platform. Okay, so I am here now. So that is an overview of what a statement of purpose should look like. And I got that from Northeastern University's website, as you saw. So for the SOP we have today, 2 SOPs were submitted, and I asked us to review it to give our comment. So let's start from the audience or from us. Who among us have suggestions or have read that and want to say something? Again, be reminded that this section is recorded. That is not to put fear on you, but just to make you to know that it's been recorded. So I need comments on that SOP. If you want to share your screen to show us your comment, you're welcome to share your screen. If you want me to share my own screen to show you to present the SOP while you comment on it, that is also fine by me. I am expecting every one of us, because I've been asking us since to read this. Just don't be scared about commenting, because that's also how you grow, right? If you can identify something good about somebody's write-up or something that can be improved on, I think that is a very good skill for you, even it will help you in writing yours. Anybody want to start? You want to say something general, you don't want to share your screen, that's also fine. But I need somebody to say something, please. For the past 2 cafe, we've had people saying something, right? So I just want, I don't want this to be my thing. It's not me, it's not about me, it's about us. That's why we shared it on time. A comment can be, oh, I love it. In fact, I love the way the person framed the work. I love the structure. I love the first paragraph. I don't like the second paragraph, things like that. That can also be a comment. Okay, Vincent Ogwa, you raise your hand. The floor is yours.
Yes, good evening, Prof.
Yeah.
Good evening, Prof. Good evening, everyone. So somebody made a comment on the first one on the WhatsApp group. I don't know if we can start from there.
Okay. You have the, okay, that means I have to get that on. Let me just get that from the WhatsApp group. So apart from that, because I remember it was Kelechi that sent that in, nobody else has something to say? This is how we're going to grow people. I'm downloading it, so just so that I can open it up. Yeah.
Hello, Prof.
I can hear you.
Okay,
I can hear you.
on the
Who's speaking?
second one, the second SOP, it's Vincent Ugwa.
Let's work on the first one. Let's stay on the first one.
Okay.
Yeah, let's stay on the first one so that we have a pattern, right? If not, we'll go here and there. It might become messy. That's what I think. On the first one, I'm opening the comment from Kelechi. Okay. Oh my God. I see something there. Okay. Once it opens, I'll share my screen. Please, I need comment from us. What's going on? If you guys are my students, is this how we're going to run a class? I give you article to read, you don't read them? That's not how it works in abroad here. Like you are going to be faced with a lot of articles, reviewing, criticizing. And how can I recommend you when you cannot even do a little assignment on reading? I think this is an opportunity for you guys to start showing your strength. Okay. I am getting that opened and okay, good. It's open now. Okay, so I'll share my screen and we will look at the comment from Kelechi. Where are you? Okay, stay open. Sorry, it couldn't open. Why? Let me try it again. So why I'm opening this? If you remember, I said I'm gonna share something with us. I was speaking with some prof. Oh, I can't open Kelechi's work. Wow. Can somebody open from their computer and share? I can't open Kelechi's work. Can somebody open from their computer and share? Okay, good. Can you make it bigger? Is there any way you can do that? Thank you, Knowledge Zeal. Okay. Can we see the screen? Can you all see the screen? Unmute yourself.
Yes.
Something, please. This is a cafe. This is not. It's not a formal. This is an informal gathering, right? Okay. So, who wants to look at the comments?
I can see the screen, Prof.
Okay. Knowledge Zeal, can you help us read the comments from Kelechi? Let's see what he's saying.
Okay, sir. Good evening, everyone. All right. Yes, sir. So
Okay.
the first comment here Kelechi says the word hunger looks simpler to use here. The word hunger looks simpler to use here.
Okay, that's on the first paragraph, right?
Yes, sir. Which has to do with I imagine myself as the biblical Joseph,
Yeah.
who through technology saved the world from impending hunger.
Okay. 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 So he's saying that he should remove impending hunger and just use hunger.
No, I think he's saying that the hunger is too simple to use. Maybe he should use a more solid word other than hunger.
Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. That is his suggestion. Okay. Let's look at the next comment.
Yes, sir. So he also said, I think this is an excellent start because you referenced the current data about hunger. You also talked about how your passion was developed.
Okay.
Still,
Good.
still on the first paragraph.
Okay. Good.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think, yeah, I really thank Kelechi for sending this in. For me, whether his comments are like anyhow the comments are, but taking that step to send in your comments, for me, it's an encouragement to me. And I think I really want, I'm looking for every one of us. I've been stressing this. Even Chukwebuka Duru, you are the person who is stressing this comment. You didn't comment on your by your own on your. Okay, let's go ahead. What is the next comment?
Yes, sir. The third comment, he said, to make this a progressive story, this paragraph should probably come later. This is because the paragraph takes us back to 2017. Also, this is where you also stated that you are, stated what you are applying for. Pardon me, please. Yes, sir.
Okay, so he's trying to talk about the logical flow.
Yes, the
right?
arrangement, sir.
Yeah, so for him, he felt that should go somewhere else. That means he's identifying something about the logical flow, which is very good because your writing should have a logical flow. The logical flow can be in terms of chronology, like time. What happened first should come first. What happened next, just like that. Or it can happen by reason of, you can use another thing, maybe a content. Let's say you want to talk about a human body. You start with the head, you go down onto the foot, right? And not starting from the foot, go to the stomach, then go to the hand, then come back to the leg again. Things like that. Okay, that is good. I don't see, that is fine. What is his next comment?
Yes, sir. He said, this should be one paragraph, not two. I also think it should be merged with the first paragraph since it also talks about how your interest was developed.
That's a good point. So if you look at what he's saying there now, it looks as if he is agreeing with what I said, that your background should actually be one paragraph. So that story that tells about yourself, and that's, don't put too much emphasis there. That is just a hook, right? That's not the main thing in this. So keep writing about yourself, about how you went to farm, all those stories, should try to merge them into one paragraph and not bringing in story of different, like just take the best story and move on, then go into the main content. Okay, I think that is a very good point from him. What is the next comment?
Yes, sir. He said, great work researching about the university. I still think it should come last.
Okay, good point again. Wow. So I agree with him. So the writer of this SOP, one thing I applauded about the writer is that the writer did his homework. Oh, sorry, I'm not using his. The writer did their homework. I would like, I don't want to use any gender sensitive thing here. The writer researched about the school. Yeah, the writer researched about the school, and you can see that like it kind of being specific about, first of all, the person knows the professor that he would like to work with, and he stated it there. Then the person also mentioned the school and some facilities that the school has. I think that is also good. Okay, what is the next one?
Yes, sir. We are still going back and forth 2017. Please review.
Exactly. So you see that the arrangement, the logical flow, after stating about the school again, it came back again to 2017. And that again is, it looked like you're here and there. So it was, we call it incoherent. It was that at that point there was some incoherency that was introduced into the writing. Okay, I think I love this comment and I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed about them. Okay.
Yes, sir. Lastly, he said, great ending.
Okay, good. So I really thank Kelechi for sending in this comment, and I hope the person that submitted the SOP will benefit from it. And thank you for sharing your screen with us, Knowledge Zeal. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
sir.
So do we have any other comment on this from us? Any other comment? Okay, since no comment, so let me share my screen and what I have written. Sorry. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen? Hello, can you see my screen? Are we there? Can you see my screen? Hello, are we there? Unmute yourself and let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, Prof. I can see your screen.
Okay, good.
I can see your screen, Prof.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So my comments are here. Can you see my comments? Okay, good.
Yes, I can see that.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay, so like I said, I like the comments from Kelechi. It's not too easy to comment on an SOP like this for the cafe. It was easier to comment on the CV. So this I tried as much as I can. I believe that after this, maybe I'm going to work closer with the person that submitted it so we can refine it more. But I had some general comments. So after reading through it, I had some general comments and some specific comments. So I would like to start with the general comments. Okay, good. So I will start. So the writer seems to have done some work, especially about the school and the prospective supervisor. So this aligns with Kelechi's comments, which makes a lot of sense, which makes me feel very happy that Kelechi saw it and I saw it. So that shows that we are consistent in our comments. Then the next comment I had there is that these are general comments. The SOP can be written in a more coherent and consistent manner. So by coherency, it means that information should flow. So when I talk about, if I'm talking about my head, I should not jump from the head to the leg, then come from the leg again to the head, then go again from the head to the leg. So things should flow, they should follow, right? And that is the feature of a good writing. Tell a coherent story in a paragraph. Like a paragraph shows one main idea. You're talking about one main subject or one main point in a paragraph. You should not jump from that paragraph, or you should not use one paragraph to talk about 5 different things at the same time. So when you are writing your SOP, follow a structure. First of all, start by writing an outline. When you have when you have written your outline, that outline will help you to keep things coherent, because in the outline, that is where you're going to outline what should be in a paragraph, the main point. So if you want to talk about your undergraduate work, that might be one point. You want to talk about your background, that can be one point that will take care of one paragraph. Then your undergraduate work, maybe your research life, then maybe your leadership life, then maybe the school that you are working. So that is how it should go, something like that. That gives. So then when you want to flesh out the story for a paragraph, make sure you are like, keep the main point in your mind. When you are writing, when you are fleshing out a paragraph, keep the main point in your mind. Don't go out of that main point. If you have to go out for that main point, then you have to create another paragraph, right? So the SOP can be written in a more coherent and consistent manner. Then the next thing I found out is that there are several long sentences that are difficult to understand. And I will show it. When I go to the specific comments, I will show those long sentences that I felt they are difficult to understand. Okay. Then the next thing is that paragraphs are poorly structured. Not all of them, but there are some paragraphs that are poorly structured. And what I mean by poorly structured is what I just said, that your paragraphs don't put the main point at the end. Like there was a place where the main point of the paragraph in this writing was at the end. The way we write, put the paragraph start with the main point, and that is what captures the attention of the reader. That is what tells the reader if they are to go to the story, to the examples in the paragraph, right? But if you don't put that, it is boring. The story will be here and there, so the person cannot follow. But if you capture your main point in the first sentence of the paragraph, then now flesh it out. That will be a very good way to tell your story. Some contents are redundant and should be deleted or well integrated. So there are too much information that you are providing. What I'm saying is that either you write them in a way that they are integrated, or you just remove some of the information. Like, there are a lot of information about your background. First of all, this person was born in Sokoto, or that is a first background. Then there was another background that relates to some people owning a farm, the person being a secretary of the farm. That's another background. There's another background that I think you say you bought a farm, something like that. So all this background, they are just, and Kelechi also pointed that out. So I think this story should be more, it should be written more precisely, so that we put our eye on the whole goal of this writing is not your story. You also want to talk about what the school is expecting, what you want to contribute to the school, and what you have, the skills you have gained up till now. So those ones should also come. And also remember, you have 500 to 1,000 words, and here you're already using about 1,127 words. So that means some things can be removed to make it read better. Okay. So let's look at specific things. I'll go to the first one here. So this sentence here, so it says, it has become imperative to prefer solutions that are not only resilient but also sustainable with almost zero negative environmental impact. Unfortunately, GIS and remote sensing technology have become pivotal to the effort towards ending hunger as it plays an integral role in precision agriculture. This sentence here is too long. It's almost taking three lines. So if I bring this precision agriculture here up here, it's 3 lines. So this is way too long. You are just joining points, one point to another point, another point. Maybe you should have cut the points here where you said maybe it has become imperative to provide solutions. There is a way I will write this, and we will remove this. It has become imperative to provide solutions. You can say that are not resilient but also sustainable with almost zero negative environmental impact. This can be one sentence. Remember, the simpler your sentence are, the better, because what we should keep in mind is sometimes people that will review our document, they are not experts in this area. Some will be experts, some are just people in the department, random people in the department, maybe some administrative people who don't understand the jargons in your field. So in writing, write simple. Make your writing simple. I'm not saying that you cannot have compound sentences. You can have compound sentences if need be, but they should flow very well. They should flow very well. So if you cut this, if you break this sentence here, there's a full stop here, it will go. So this will be one. Then you can now introduce GIS. You don't have to even say unfortunately. As you say that, you can say GIS and remote sensing are promising solution to end. So you might not even say have become pivotal to the effort towards ending. You can say GIS and remote sensing technology are promising solution that can end hunger because they play, and you're talking about two technologies. So we're saying it plays two technologies, right? Because they play an integral role in precision agriculture. So once you have, this is look more like a first draft. So after your first draft, you go again, start asking yourself, is there a better way I can present this? Is there a simpler way I can present my story? That is what the second draft will do for you. That is what proofreading. Proofreading, you are asking yourself the question, can I break this sentence in a simpler way and still pass my message across? It looks as if I'm talking to myself, but that is how it is because I'm explaining my content. So far, does anybody have a comment? Any comment before I continue? Can you say something? So I will know that you guys are here.
We're here, sir.
Okay. Any comments?
No, sir, just to clarify, did you say that it has to be between 500 to 1,000 words, sir?
So from the Northeastern University's website, they recommend keeping it between 500 to 1,000 words, which for them is going to be like 1 page. But that is a generic, that is if the application did not state anything to you, right? They just ask you to write an SOP. But some applications, they will be very specific to tell you what they want. They'll say, submit a 1-page SOP, double space.
Yes,
Maybe they give you the font type. Okay, good.
Yes, sir.
Good. So if they give you specific information or specific details about the SOP, make sure to follow their own and not generic, right?
Strictly.
But
Yes,
when
sir.
they did not give you anything, then you have to follow like the best practice.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So I'm on this sentence here. I'm saying that it is too long. I think I've also stated how I think it can be broken and then written precisely. And you can achieve that, like I said, I'm saying you can achieve that when you do your proofreading. So the first draft is always lengthy, right? Because there you are pouring out your mind. You are pouring out your mind the way it is coming. But after that, you now go to the next level. Ask yourself the question, or ask the question on every sentence. On every sentence, ask the question, is there another way I can present this? Can I, if I remove this phrase or this clause, will I still be passing my message across? That is a question you must ask your own writing to reduce it. Good. So then let's look at the next sentence there. The next sentence says, before I continue, I just want to make sure the person, please confirm this word you use here, almost zero negative. So make sure this term is even correct, right? You are an expert here, but just make sure that there's something like zero negative. So with negative environmental impact, just confirm there's anything like zero negative. You are an expert, so make sure that is correct. So that is also what I'm saying, that make sure what the terms you are using are correct. Nobody pays you, nobody awards you for using jargons, but make sure that anyone you're using is the best practice used in that field. However, why scientists? So this again, however and why, these are two contrasting words used together. However, why scientists? I think this however you need to remove this however here, and you can even just go it if you really want to go in this pattern, because I think most times why is used to also bring in contrast, because you are saying why this, why this is good, this can be done. So why this is good, this can be done. So it's like you contrast one thing to bring in another thing. So I'm not too sure if however and why it's a very good place to put them here. But let's read the sentence as a long sentence that is difficult to read. However, why scientists worldwide strive to provide solutions to these myriad challenges, I refuse to watch from the sidelines. I want to actively, again, you don't have to state this. You don't have to say I refuse to watch from the sidelines. If you want to really go this way. However, why scientists worldwide strive to provide solutions to these myriad challenges, I want to actively engage. Then in that case, you don't actually, maybe you should never put this why. You don't put this why. Just go straight to what you want to do. And if you think that scientists have been providing solution, just acknowledge it. Right? You can say, or maybe that is where you can actually bring in the gap. You can say, although scientists worldwide have provided several solutions to these challenges, right? This and this and this are poorly understood, or this and this are lacking, right? That is a gap. You create that gap. Then you can now, that gap helps you to bring in your novelty, bring in your to create your niche, your space in this field. So it's good that you acknowledge that scientists are doing something, but I think the grammar coin in here just makes it a poor way of presenting. So I will go with, although scientists worldwide, or you can just, they don't even put why. I say scientists worldwide have preferred solutions to these challenges. However, you cannot state what is lacking. However, the use of remote sensing or the use of this is poorly understood or is lacking, especially in developing countries, so something like that. Then you cannot bring it yourself. You don't even have to say, I refuse to watch from the sideline. These are just increasing your test unnecessary. It is a very redundant statement there. So I want to actively engage in research and development of appropriate technologies to deliver this not much needed solution. Therefore, I am applying for for the MSc Applied Geographical Interface Systems and Remote Sensing in your highly reputable institution. Again, this you have not actually said anything here. So the writer has not said anything here because it is so generic. I want to actively engage in research and development of appropriate technologies. So the one that the scientists have been working on, they're not appropriate technologies, right? I don't know if you're seeing what I'm saying. So you have to be specific. What actually do you want to do? You can name one thing in that area, right? Because you are saying that scientists worldwide they have been preferring of solutions. We actually did not even know, maybe you can even mention one type of solution you think that they have preferred, then criticize that one, then state what you want to do, specific, and not to use appropriate technologies. Okay, so this act you did here just make the sentence just so long and difficult to read. So I'm asking you to please rephrase it. And I'm also adding that you should be specific about what you want to do in that school. And how do you know about what you want to do in that school? Is by doing your research, right? Check your literature. As somebody who is going for master's degree, you must have seen the literature. What is the state of art in this area and what is yet to be done? What is known and what is yet to be known, right? So that will come in here and that will help to drive your story. Okay, then in the next, I'm not looking at all this. Kelechi has done a good work of asking you to merge your background, but I'm just looking at the structure of your sentences. So what is it? My next point. Yeah, again, I think here the story is becoming too general. It should be more specific. Let's see what story you're talking about. After much success, and here they are contrasting stories actually. After much success, we were faced with disturbing issues. Prominent issues were attacks from herdsmen, drought, pest and disease attacks, small land sizes, poor irrigation, and poor knowledge of soil health. It is true that these can be problems that will affect crop production, but were these the things you saw in your area? I don't think these are all what you saw in your area. So what I'm saying is that if you want to use, you can use one problem that really happened to end, because if you can use one problem that really happened to pass your message, and that is that one problem that you want to solve. You're not going to solve all the problems. You not solve herdsman attack, drought, pest and disease attack, small land sizes, poor irrigation in one master degree course or that you want to do. It's way too much, right? So you can focus. Maybe your main area want to be how to use remote sensing to predict pest and disease attack. So how do we know when a farm is infested, the early stage of disease infestment? We can use remote sensing, do some image analysis, do some image analysis to test that. Although a lot of work have been going on there, so you can state what you want to do there. But if you want to be specific, that will tell the committee that you have done your homework and you really know what you want to do. So this is just so generic. Then in the second stage, you now say that in the first 2 seasons, we recorded 20% increments in crop production, but the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, this comma here is not needed, brought about a massive decline in crop production and subsequent food scarcity. You see that for me, this looked contradictory. Here you said several issues, and we did not see COVID-19 here, right? Here you are saying that it was COVID-19 that brought the decline in crop production. I'm still wondering how COVID, like I asked you this question, I said, it is not clear how COVID-19 affected food production in your village. So I think it might be possible, but you have to let the reader know how. What did COVID do? Did it stop people from going to farm? Was it killing people that they didn't go to farm? Or did it affect the land? Did COVID-19, was it the COVID-19 that brought herdsmen attack? Was it that brought drought? Was it COVID-19 that brought the pest and disease attack? Was it that created the small land sizes? Was it COVID that brought poor irrigation? Maybe COVID stopped people from going to the farm, then they were not irrigating. Maybe that is how you want to bring your story. If COVID-19 stopped people from going to farm, then they were not irrigating, that would have made more like a nice storyline, right? So let your storyline, in addition to telling your story, Let it be logical. So this is a message to every one of us. When you're telling your story, let it be logical. Okay. Okay. So here I'm saying, what did I say here? Delete. So why? The experience challenged me to research possible ways to avert future occurrences. I thought of the possibility to predict and monitor natural disaster and pest attack to prevent huge agricultural losses. So again, if this is what you really want to study, maybe you can build your story on pest and disease attack. If that's you can, and that will give you a lot of things to say, but it will be more direct. If you want to build your story on that, that will also be good. But here, why did I say you should delete this? Okay. The experience challenged me to research possible ways to avert future occurrences. I thought of the possibility to predict and monitor natural disaster and pests. Again, the way you presented this doesn't show. I will present it in a better way. Maybe when we're gonna work on this one-on-one, we can look for how we want to do that, because you can, like, there's nothing wrong to go direct. I plan to predict and monitor natural disaster, or I plan to study ways of predicting natural disaster or pest attack, something like that. There's nothing way to go direct, instead of using some story that just bring, like, I thought of the possibility to. You see, I thought of the possibility to. I plan to predict and monitor, or so maybe that's why you want to do your master's, something like that. So you should be direct. You don't need to bring in this, I thought of the possibility to. That is just a redundant way of introducing your work. Okay. I think I like that you defined sustainability intensification here. So you introduce a term and you defined it using precision farming tool like remote sensing, remote sensors. I don't know if you mean remote sensing and GPS. Okay, you're talking about two, remote sensor and GPS for fertilizer dispersion, advanced irrigation system, amongst others, to improve their farm productivity. I think their crop productivity will go fine. Crop productivity, farm productivity. I don't think farm productivity is the right term here. So look at your terminologies, and the way you actually enrich yourself in terminology is by reading articles in this field. When you read articles in this field, you enrich yourself with the type of terminologies used here. I think we are running out of time, but I'll try to go because I didn't want to take it out from 1 hour. So let's see here. Okay. Oh, I think, yeah, what I said here, clarify if these were the reasons for the reduced crop productivity in your village farm. So I think that was what I wanted to say here for this point. So I ask you to clarify, because it's not still clear. You have told us it's COVID-19. Here you are saying you want to predict and monitor natural disaster. So make it clear in your introduction statement that what led to that reduction in your in your crop productivity in the farm in your village. So once you establish that, then you can come up with what you want to do. Okay, so here, again, this is another long sentence, How many lines? 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 lines. So inspired by the insight on GIS and remote sensing and its application in agriculture, I imagined how this knowledge would help save my people from the impending hunger, and it sparked my desire to learn more, to acquire new skills in geospatial data analytics and remote sensing, in providing real-time insights to farmland, identify farm areas in need of irrigation, fertilizer, and pesticide treatment, and determine the optimal time for sowing and harvesting. You have lumped a lot of things in one sentence, I think this can be rephrased or written in a very succinct way, a very precise way. Remember again, these people that are reading your work, they are reading also that of maybe 100 other people. So the one that they find easier, we draw their attention. So put that in mind. So I say too long and difficult to understand. Then this, I said, this adds nothing to the story. I began to seek out an institution that is research inclined and highly recognized for its achievement in environmental sciences, the University of Southampton. I said this adds nothing to the story. It's a redundant thing. Why did I say that? Because this sentence here on its own you can remove it. That was why I rephrased this part here. On a normal ground, I should rephrase every word based on what I want, but I didn't want to do it here. I want to just give this writer, I want to just make more of comment. But here I decided to do some working. So instead of saying this, starting this, I began to seek for an institution here. You can, after stating the problem, we have known the problem, you can now state, I chose the University of Southampton because that is the same thing. So what you said here is now being captured here, right? Because it is highly recognized in the UK for its achievement in environmental sciences and known as one of the best universities in GIS and remote sensing. So this tells us that, this again, information tells us that it solves this problem, this statement you created here. That tells us that you actually did your research and you found a school that is recognized in its achievement in environmental science. Any comment so far? Hello. Am I the only one here?
No, sir.
No, you're not. We're here
Any
with
comment
you.
so far? Any comment so far? Any question?
I'm enjoying the review. Go on, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that's yeah, then again, this sentence was supposed to be very long, but I broke it here. So I put a full stop here in the story. Then I started, so yeah, this first sentence is for the university, right? Then the next you go to the department, not lumping everything. That is when we're talking about the logical flow. The university is the first, the department, then maybe the person, right, in the department. So the Department of Geography is equipped. Most times, if I see that there are other departments that are also very good, I can say, for example, so now I've talked about the school, how they are good in GIS and remote sense. I know that it's not only geography department that does remote sense, maybe environmental science can do that, things like that. So you can say, for example, the department of, but if this is the only department that is doing it, it's also good. So don't need to say example. For example, the Department of Geography is equipped with state-of-the-art computer laboratory with computers tailored to meet students' need. I think maybe I will never state all these details. I can just go ahead with computers, with relevant softwares. And with, I think the most important thing here is the relevant software and not the processing speed. Even individual can buy computers with nice processing skills, but it's very difficult, it's very expensive sometimes to get some software. And if the school is a school that is well equipped, most times they get licensed version of those softwares. So that can be the real good thing. Else, you can be in Nigeria and get a good laptop that has a good speed, but maybe you might not have that money to pay for some of those license, right? So you think of what is that thing that is really the big issue, right? So that big issue is what should be captured in your story and not a generic statement. So try to capture the big issues because you also want to reduce the text. Like I said, your text is too long, so you want to reduce it. So capture the big issue there. Again, see here, I commented, I said, this shows that you have done your homework about the school. Is there a research center? Because here we're just talking about a research, a computer laboratory. Most times, most of these laboratories, they have a name. If you find on the website that they have a name for it, maybe they have called it Computer Lab Center or Computer Resource Center or GIS Center. you can actually use that name, right? So it will be specific that you also know the name of the center. Then you said something, the person says something, say the department also has a field spectrometry laboratory where remote sensing works can be carried out. So I change it to where remote sensing research are conducted and offers high quality education with lots of practical experiences. Okay, maybe you found that can be a very nice one there. But what did I state there? Okay. Now there's something so in the next sentence, I see that you want to now talk about the professor. So, but how did you start? The person started by saying, more so, aside from having approachable lecturers who are willing to impart knowledge to students, the trailblazing researches of faculty members also inspired me to choose this world-class institution. So we are still talking about what inspired you. I chose the University of Southampton because of this, right? So if there's a way we can merge these two sentences, if we think so, these two paragraphs, if you really want to do that, then you should have brought in these trailblazing researchers in the first line, if you want to do that. But if you don't want to do that, I think this is also fine as it is. So, but let's look at what my comment here is. So look at my comment. Someone will wonder how you knew that the lecturers are approachable and willing to impart knowledge. Have they previously taught you? So was it like, how did you know? Because I don't think that is part of what is shown on the website, that lecturers are approachable. This only comes from your experience with them. So I think this is against like a generic statement which they will laugh at. They will, I think, yeah, because, and it's not always true that they are approachable. So let's be realistic. So I think I will leave this out. But if you want to talk about their trailblazing research, that is sure, because that's on their website. You can see that from the type of papers they publish, the type of work they do, they post it on their website, right? So you can actually start from there, that the trailblazing research of the faculty members. I use also here because you have stated in this paragraph what inspired you about the school. That's why I'm saying the second thing that inspired you. That is why I'm putting also here. So the trailblazing research of faculty members also inspired me to choose this world-class institution. I particularly find the recent work of Professor Justin Sheffield, head of department and a professor of hydrology. I think if he's already known, maybe you might not want to. This show that you did your research, but you might not want to go this extra mile to break him down. They already know who he is because you use his first name and his last name, right? By using his first name and his last name means that they will know him if he's in that department. So this, if you are lacking words, if you are writing for a given word, so this word here, this sentence here, or this whatever here can be deleted, right? So just go straight to the recent work of Professor Justin Sheffield, who works on blah 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 blah. Fine. So I particularly find the work of Professor this or that, who work on this or that, very interesting. Oh, so the work of Professor Justin Sheffield on this that very interesting and inspiring. Okay. He made, I like this part because it shows you did your homework, like I said. He made a remarkable conclusion by highlighting the role that plant physiology plays in adapting to drier and arid countries /arid countries. If you are short of words, although it's one word here, you can just use one in arid country, because arid means that they are dried areas, right? So arid countries, just use one of the words there. I think arid is a very it's a more professional word to use in this area. Conditions. Then I put a full stop because you did not put a full stop here. So I put a full stop. We should stop it here. Then the next sentence, your own. In my opinion, so this is about the professor, right? This is your opinion about the study. In my opinion, comma, this groundbreaking knowledge offers hope to arid/deserted communities. I checked. I went to Google this. I said, so I'm asking you, what does this mean? Deserted means an area of land that is not occupied by people. People have left that area. Is that what you? I don't think that is what you mean. You want to talk about desert, right? So, but here the person is talking about deserted community. So watch your terms. Sometimes the way we speak affect the way we use terms, but that term might not actually make meaning. That is what proofreading can bring out. So deserted communities doesn't mean a desert. It can be because of war, because of fighting. Maybe army came and raided people. Everybody deserted the community. That is not what you wanted to say here. His interest, okay, developing American. So that talk goes more and talk about the professor, which makes sense. That shows your work. Again, in line with Kelechi, let's see what did I say here. This paragraph is not coherent with the story you are telling because you came back to talk about in 2017. Apart from that, I find it difficult to even understand why you brought in this. So I find it difficult to talk about why you brought in this. Are you trying to tell us about your skill or your experience in the field? Because that should have been said already. That should have been said already somewhere at the introduction. So this might not be needed here. Then this your undergraduate studies. I think this part should come very much earlier. After you have stated your problem, you want to tell us the skills that you have. So this part on my undergraduate studies in agricultural engineering has equipped me. So this should be has equipped me with an understanding on the role of soil type, nutrient, and water transport to plant health. Furthermore, I develop skills. So this, for me, this part should actually come before talking about the university and why you want to study in university. So in terms of logic, why you talk after you talk about your problem, and you even said, I remember in the introduction, you said that was why you read agriculture. That was why you read. I think there was a place you said that. So that is after that you now talk about your quality, your qualifications and the skills you have gathered so far. That should come earlier before talking about the university, why you want to study in the university. Then okay, so here I talked about, and here I also try to make this writing more precise, so you can check it and see if it's in line with if it still makes sense to what you're saying. If it doesn't make sense, you can, but I just try to make it more precise, and it will also teach you on how, when I mean writing precisely. Sometimes we tell some stories that are not just helping matters, so write precisely, and that is very needed for graduate studies. Then let's look at my point here. So for this paragraph, remember I said that the structure of paragraphs is the structure of some of the paragraph. It's poor. So here, the last sentence is my educational background has equipped me with skills in numerical computing, data analysis, and reasoning skills, which I believe are key requirements to designing remote sensing systems. I feel that when I read this paragraph, I feel that this is the key message here. This is the main point, because it talks about your educational background. It talks about the skills you've acquired. The educational background is that you have a first degree in agricultural engineering, a master's in mechanical engineering, and you have gathered skills in C++, all these computer softwares or languages. So this statement here should actually be the first sentence here that covers other things. So all these other ones would be like examples, right? So my educational background and skills, something like that, in numerical computing data that has equipped me, blah, 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 blah. Then you can now talk about what is that educational background. I have a bachelor's in agricultural engineering and a master's degree in this. I've recently completed online classes on this, that. So that is giving a flesh to this big statement you started with. That will tell the, so when person read this, the person will know if you're going to read others. So I think this is the way we should structure our paragraph. Start with a big statement that leads to the other things. not the other way around. Don't start with the examples, then end with a big statement. That's a poor way of writing. So finally, he said, this presently I work as a graduate research assistant and I have developed skills in research. I think here it looks like you are trying to talk about your future, what the knowledge you're going to gain from University of Southampton or the university you're applying to, how that knowledge will be useful. But I don't understand why this way you're working now, I think it should come earlier, and you should use that to actually strengthen maybe your research. If you have publications, which I did not see here, which is one of the most important achievements in research, right? If you're really a research person. I think after talking about your educational background and the skills you've acquired, the one thing you want to talk about is I currently work as a graduate research assistant. I like to start with that, and I'll say in this, so you can now state that that role, you do research, you do teaching, you do this, you do that, and you can now talk about, maybe if you have some publications, you talk about it there. It's very important because, like I said, graduate school, one of the best skills you have in graduate school is technical report writing. Because whether you do research or if you don't report it, if you don't write it, it's more like redundant. Why did you even do it, right? So if you have a good technical writing skills, always prioritize that in your writing and flesh it out. Speak more of it, like boast. Like when you have a good thing, you want to put it at the front of you, right? So always put that very close to the front. So I think this is what I have for this first SOP. Again, these are not all. I didn't state some things at the starting. Kelechi, I am very grateful that Kelechi did. So I think by looking at the two and others that will come, you should be able to improve on this. So the floor is open. Any question, any comment? I will stop sharing the screen. If somebody needs to go to any of the comments on the screen, we can look at it. So let's talk more on the screen. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Wow. The floor is open.
Well done, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof.
Any comments?
Thank you so much, Prof. I enjoyed the review. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Again, our comment is not like it's total, it's not final. You, the writer, you know what you want. So you choose what you want to choose from people's comment, right? So we're not like saying you must follow this thing. These are just our opinion about the writing. So it's left for you to choose, left for you to update it or not update it. But I need comments. What did you like about that work? So we'll end in the next 2-3 minutes, but somebody should say something. Or do you agree with everything I said? Is there something I said that you don't like, that you think should be said in another way?
Prof, I agree totally with all your comments, and looking at the SOP, I don't know. I feel like it's a beautiful write-up though, and
Okay.
putting all those comments made already, I think it will make it more beautiful and better.
Great.
Okay.
NSDK, you wanted to say something?
Okay, yeah, I want to say something. Though my SOP is not here, it wasn't that too ready before everybody, like, it was a bit late for me to submit. I would have loved to submit my own, but at least from your own review, for what I have seen so far, I think I have to go back and do some, job on my own a bit, and I've learned a lot, from the review.
Okay.
I also appreciate and thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you very much. And like I said, there are a lot of resources out there, right? like what would I encourage? Don't copy people's template word for word, but you can learn the structure, right? You can learn the structure of the writing. I don't like if you remember one time I talked about the fast food and the fast food template, something like that. But a template that comes from your head is more organic, it's more authentic. So just like what we saw in the Northwestern, what they talk about the SOP, start by brainstorming. What story you want to tell, what skills you want to bring out, and it should be channeled based on the application. Your application should tell the story you want to add, and don't talk about all your story. We have a lot of stories to tell, right? But you don't want to tell everything. You have to choose one story that resonates with the application and go in line with that story, right? Then look at your logic, the logical flow. Make sure things are logically connected. Because if it's not logically connected, it gets people pissed off. Like people are like, I'm reading something, I just saw that something is not connected. I'm like, it just, even if the story is nice, but I just want, come on, who is doing this, right? So that logical flow is very important. So in the absence of comments, I will end this section, if that is okay by us. I think this is 12 p.m. here, and it should be 8 p.m. in Nigeria, right?
Exactly, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So thank you very much for your time, and we will share the recordings once it is available. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much, Prof.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so much,
very
sir.
much.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Great.